Hello, fine folks of the interwebs. Welcome to Small Stories Around the NFL. I am your host, Dave. We're diving into lucky number week 13. And in today's video, we're talking playoffs. Playoffs. Let's shake and bake, baby. In the small stories segment, I'll be going over some of the developing stories on a week-to-week basis. For example, big game matchups, underdog stories, player news, all the notable highlights, in today's case, playoffs, because it's right around the corner, believe it or not. If there's something that you want to discuss, please comment and let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a chat with you. And before we get going, if you could leave a like to support the channel, and if you want to follow along, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos so you know when I put out the next episode. Week 13, playoffs. This is going to be simple. I'm going to try and keep it to be quick, but it's going to be simple. So let's jump into the NFL.com breakdown of the standings and have a quick peek. Starting off with the beloved AFC East, everyone's favorite conference, and hosting, I'm sure you either hate them or love them, the New England Patriots. 8-4 leading the division, closely behind the Bills at 7-4, and the Dolphins on a 4-game win streak at 5-7. The points for and the points against for the Pats and the Bills it's crazy, the difference. 336 to 190 and 326 to 182. Great offense, great defense. The other two, not so good. You have a difference of 146 to -45 between the Dolphins and the Pats, for example. The Pats are on a 6-game win streak, and they're 5-0 on the road, which is nuts. But the Bills are 3-0 in the division. And those two teams are playing on Monday, which is going to be an awesome game. The Pats are 6-1 in the conference. They probably look like the best team in the AFC at this point right now, which I hate to admit as a Ravens fan. But they do sit second behind the Ravens only because they've played 12 games and lost 4 versus the Ravens playing 11 games, only losing 3. So, 6-game win streak is pretty nuts. Jets are obviously out of it. They got some nice picks lined up. Let's take a look at the AFC North. This one, people like to say the NFC West is the most ridiculous, division, and I just disagree. And I'm obviously biased because I am a Ravens fan, sure, but the AFC North is just ridiculous. Every year and usually it's the Steelers that the Ravens and the Browns are competing with, but now it's the Bengals are showing up too. So you have the AFC North leading the division, the Ravens, 8-3. They're also leading the AFC. They're the number 1 seed right now, just based off of games played. Don't get me wrong. Points for and points against are way too close. 23 net points is ridiculous to win that many games by that little amount of points. 5-1 at home, 3-2 on the road. I love to see that. They're doing all right. 2-game win streak somehow. Close games against bad teams. Probably the least deserved record in the AFC, besides I think the Titans. But the Bengals are right there, 7-4. The Browns are right there, 6-6. And I love to see it. The Steelers at 5-1. They did not beat the Lions. They tied the Detroit Lions. Love it. The Bengals with a net point of 83 is kind of scary. They look like they're high flying offense. Their defense is stepping up. They just destroyed the Steelers, and it was weird rooting for the Bengals. The AFC South, this is exactly how people expected this division to go. Maybe flip-flop Indianapolis and Tennessee, but your Texans and your Jaguars both sitting at 2 wins, which arguably people would say might be too many. Net points 128 in the hole. It's just, that's so bad. So bad. The Titans, I think are pretty well done for. I think they just hit a record of the most injured in NFL history as of 2 days ago, which is brutal. 8-2, or sorry, 8-4. They've won some close games too. They've got a net point difference of 14, like 2 touchdowns. Crazy that they have 8-4. They've won some close games. Crazy games. And the Colts at 6-6. The Colts' record, I feel like their team is definitely better than the record is showing, and they're positive 57 points. All these teams are on a losing streak, be it 1 game, 2 games, or 3. AFC South, by far the weakest division in the AFC, obviously. Let's move on to the last but not least division, our AFC West. It did not look, about 4 weeks ago, no one thought that the Chiefs would be leading the AFC West, but here they are on a 4-game win streak when everyone was counting them out, myself included. Well, I can't say I counted them out, but I was very, very disappointed in Mahomes' lackluster play. But look at this division. This is a boat race. 7-4, 6-5, 6-5, 6-5. The Chargers just lost a pretty rough game against the Broncos, which really is what set this right to where it needs to be. And the Raiders beating the Cowboys last week, or during Thanksgiving, again, keeps them in the race. They had a great start to the year. They started fading out, looking awful, and then they had a couple wins lately too. So, that division is just a mess. Just a mess. I'm flabbergasted that it's so tight. Which, I mean, that's awesome. You love to see it. It's good for football. So right now you have winning the division, the Chiefs, the Titans, the Ravens, and the Pats, obviously. And then you have in the hunt the Bills, the Bengals, the Browns, the Colts, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Raiders. Like everyone has a chance to make this playoffs this year. It's incredible. All right, let's move on to the National Football Conference, the NFC East. I mean, everyone's in it here too, and they shouldn't be. It's every year with this division though. It's you're the tallest midget, as they would say, right? I guess I don't know if I can use those words on the internet, so I apologize if I offended. You're the smartest, not so bright individual. The Dallas Cowboys. Congratulations, you've got 2 games up on the Eagles, which is crazy because if the Eagles just would have beat the Giants like they should have on Sunday, they'd be 1 game back. 1 game back. And then Washington goes ahead and beats Seattle last night on Monday Night Football to stay in the race too, which I'm going to selfishly let people know. I put $50 on the Washington football team to win that division at the beginning of the year. And I'd love for that to pan out. Heineke looks like he's playing he looks like Brett Favre out there, minus the bullet of an arm, or the cannon of an arm. He's just making individual. He actually reminded me of Russell Wilson last night's game too. The Giants have 4 wins, which I don't think anyone expected at this point, especially the way they've been playing, the way their odds are, going on for betting. People are counting them out, and they're still in it, which is wild. 3-win streak for the Washington football team right now. Don't count out Mr. Rivera. You can't. You cannot. That being said, within division, the Cowboys are 2-0, and the Eagles are 0-2. And everyone was rooting for the Eagles to come back and take a hefty catch up on the Cowboys. If CeeDee Lamb isn't playing, I won't be betting on the Cowboys. Oh, I realized that I wasn't showing that. I apologize. Take a screenshot now, hit the pause button, and look at the stats because I messed up pretty bad. NFC North. This one is not nearly as close as the other divisions. You have the Vikings are hanging in, so kudos to them. They lost to the Niners last week, which was pretty rough for them. It was a close game, but the score was closer than the actual match dictated. The Niners ran all over them, and they caused turnovers, which is what Minnesota was doing before and winning games, is not causing turnovers, not losing the turnover war. The Packers are 9-3. I think that's a ridiculous record for their points for too, or their net points of 41. They did just destroy the Rams, but I think that the Rams are now, they're cursed now with the Odell Beckham curse. Green Bay's 9-3. They're on a within the conference 7-2, which is pretty strong. And in the division, they do have one loss as well, though. So the Vikings are 2-0 in the division, so that's super helpful for them. And they're like the only ones that are in this. Chicago, not so much, and obviously Detroit, they haven't got a win, but they do have a tie, and it was against the Steelers, which makes me very happy. The NFC South, another this is tight too. The division is not 3 games back, all 3 teams, but who would have, no one thinks about the Falcons being in the playoff run right now. They're not playing like it. They have minus 103 net points. And they might make the playoffs in the NFC. That's crazy. That's crazy. Tampa, obviously 8-3, 5-0 at home, which is pretty impressive. They've been losing on the road. But, that is what it is. Yeah. 94 net points. It must feel good to be a Bucs fan right now. But the Falcons and the Saints and the Panthers are all 5-6 or 5-7. Obviously, the Panthers are down one step because they have that one extra loss right now. That's a wild division. It's just weird to see a division where it's always the Saints. And now we got the Bucs, and the other 2 teams are battling for competition right now, which is nice. Everyone loves the underdogs. Everyone loves the underdog story, and the NFC South is definitely one of those at the moment. Last but not least, we're going to round things out with the beautiful NFC West. The division that everyone says is by far the hardest, and don't get me wrong, I do respect it. I think it is very difficult. You have 3, normally 4 really good teams. Arizona and Seattle have kind of flip-flopped. LA has always been a powerhouse. San Francisco's always been a powerhouse. Seattle normally looks great and does well, but they've got a reverse score of the Arizona Cardinals right now. And the Cardinals haven't had Kyler Murray, and they were still winning games, which is amazing. So that just shows their defense playing very well. They got 108 net points. The rest of the teams in the division, sitting at 36 and 32. I don't know. Within the division, the Cardinals are 4-0 too. That's massive. Seattle, their season's over. They were playing like they were playing like their season was on the line on Monday against Washington, and they just fizzled out. They're done. That's it. I'd be very curious to know if Russell Wilson leaves or if Pete Carroll leaves or if both leave next year, but you hate to see it for guys like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Those guys are out there just balling, and they're not getting the targets. Honestly, the Seattle Seahawks too, they without Chris Carson, I find that they just can't establish the run game, and they just can't get the play action going the way they want to. So they've just been dominated. The Rams are on a 3-game loss streak, which is massive. Odell Beckham, congratulations. You guys just drafted COVID, essentially. Just there to make your team anemic. And on the flip side of that, the Niners have got a 3-game win streak, which you'd love to see if you're a Niners fan. Deebo Samuel is out. We don't know for how long, so who knows how that might end up. But overall, this division is pretty tight still, with the Rams and the Niners having a chance. So you have the Cardinals in, the Bucs in as of now, the Packers are in as of now, and the Cowboys are in as of now. But in the hunt, you have the Rams, and then you have a bunch of 5-win teams. That's it. NFC is not strong this year. And at first, for a few weeks, I really thought that it would be the Rams that were they look dominant. But Matt Stafford can't stay healthy. They've got Odell Beckham Jr. there now, and that's not good for them. If they can make the playoffs and Cam Akers gets back and he's healthy, that could be a huge swing for them. The Packers, I feel, are overrated. I think their score does not dictate their level of play. However, that being said, Aaron Jones is going to be healthier soon, and without him, A.J. Dillon's still beasting it out there. Aaron Rodgers utilizing a tank out there is good to see, and he's still I think he's playing up this whole COVID toe thing like this. I think he just wanted to be like, yeah, when I go out there and I sling and I win against the Rams, just watch. It's even that much more heroic or Herculean or whatever you want to call it, right? So I love and I hate Aaron Rodgers. I think a lot of people are in that boat right now, but that's it. That's your playoff race, guys. thanks for taking a peek with me. We've obviously got, a few weeks left, 5 weeks of NFL football to go, and it's a crazy, crazy soap opera of a season, and hopefully you're enjoying it. And that'll do it, sports fans. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Small Stories Around the NFL. I am your host, Dave. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a thumbs up because it does help support the channel. And if you want to follow along to hear my NFL stories, if you want to hear me talk about my spread, money line, over under picks, then please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll know when my next video comes out. Thanks again. I'm out.